Hello everyone watching. Welcome to episode 15 of Bryce Talk Show. Now thank you for watching and do subscribe for more if you want to see more like this. And let's get into it. We're going to talk Super Bowl almost. We're going to talk about me ditching Google Photos and more stuff I'm going to discuss along the way besides those two. So, without further ado, get ready and get ready to listen to this great stuff. I hope you enjoy listening. So, let's talk about it. Super Bowl Sunday is soon approaching. We got it on the 13th this year. Bengals will start heading over to SoFi Stadium on Tuesday. And they won the AFC champion, which is really great. I wasn't sure who honestly was going to win that because you had Kansas, who is just as good as, the Bengals. But I really was going to hope the Bengals would end up playing the Super Bowl this year. But all the playoff games this year, let's talk about that. All the playoff games this year were, really great. You had also the other Kansas game with the Bills was in overtime, and then Kansas beat the Bills that time. Then you had this one against the Bengals, and then the Rams won San Francisco. Yeah, that game was good. So pretty much all the games, and Cardinals lost, which that was a crazy game, and they didn't do too good. I told you about that. It was a great playoff, and then you have Tom Brady retiring, which everybody's talking about, which I knew that was probably going to happen after they lost to on a couple weeks ago. And last Monday, I think it was, or last Tuesday, he posted on his Instagram, everybody was talking about the retirement. And I was actually listening on 102.5 The Bone, even though that's in Florida, but I always stood up Mike Calta's show, and they were talking about that because he just started posting it. It was almost just about the end of the original show before the after show. So, that's another crazy, big thing going on. But yeah, if Cincinnati gets to pull this off, that'll be great for the state of Ohio and Cincinnati. I think it'll be a great win for them, and hopefully they can manage to pull that off. But I think that'll be a good hit for them. Also, let's talk about me ditching Google Photos. I always talked about before this happened about Google Photos saying, well, we're gonna in 2020 they did an article, TechCrunch, and I'm sure many other news outlets talked about this. It's the thing they changed about uploading, backing up stuff to your Google Photos and it counting against your Google Drive quota storage. Well, this is what I'm talking about. As you know, uploading stuff to Google Photos now counts to your Google Drive and everything else you use, which is all 15 gigabytes. Which is good, but 15 gigabytes is good. But let me tell you, with all the stuff I have, Drive and all the stuff I have everywhere else, Google Photos pretty much takes a lot of space, but especially the stuff I've been taking. And this all started on June 1st last year. And it started, and then they started doing this thing where they were gonna start counting all this stuff as storage. So then I have to constantly check and see what stuff has been taking up all this space constantly. I have to make sure because obviously if there's no more space, you can't use anything. Can't do Yahoo, Gmail. You can't do Google Drive. Can't do none of that. So, and it's a drag because now I have to look at all this large photos and videos stuff and everything else that may take up the rest of the space, and for most part try to figure out what it is and all this stuff. And I had not, I was kind of getting tired of doing it this year. I said, once I upload all this last few stuff, I'll upload Florida stuff, I'll upload a couple old stuff, and then I'm probably going to ditch it and just start looking at all my other stuff and not back up any more stuff to it. Because I already have 1 terabyte on OneDrive, and also 2 hard drives, which is really good for what I do anyway. So it really says that they don't care about because before it didn't really matter. I mean, if you changed your setting to low quality, it wouldn't count it to any of your space, and you could still back up so much, which I did. But the good part is you don't have to remove any of your old stuff to manage storage. It's always your new stuff that you back up. I did delete old stuff that I don't really care for, but there's a lot of stuff that I still have that I could look over. I mean, my gosh, I got stuff I could look over. So the idea here is, they started this up here, and the way Google had done this, I don't see why that's necessary. It's kind of crazy, but I think what we're getting here is that they've been doing this for about almost a year, coming up in 3 months. They've been doing this. So actually 4 months. Actually, it's February. And I was pretty shocked when reading this article. I talked about it on one of the old Bryce Talk show episodes, on episode from season 2 episodes, episode 15, episode 8 or something. I have to look. But it was pretty crazy, to say the least, for what they've done to it. And I think they did a lot to it that they should have at least did something better with that. Also, I have more air checks to show you all. I might upload to the channel. Got more Wink FM air checks. I also uploaded the 102.5 of The Bone with the Johnny B show starting at 8 o'clock. And also after that was the Mike Calta show. I don't know why I didn't stop. I think I know why I didn't stop the recording after the show was over. I was out. I wasn't in the room where my thing was on, and it was that way. It ended up being 2 hours. Oops. So I know a lot of people haven't watched it, but I will link those two in the description. And I also have more air checks of Florida, but I will also be uploading air checks recordings from right here in Columbus, Ohio too. But I definitely want to get these Florida ones in there because they're great, from the good old Southwest Florida. Because it is a fun little thing to look over. And heck, I could even start taking my radio and my little headphone jack to me when I go on vacation and record radio like I did this past time I was down there, but also other places too. And that would be pretty fun to look into. So that's another possibility. And yeah, but air checks are quite fun to listen to on YouTube and old radio recordings that other people have recorded. Unfortunately, I don't have old ones, only a few from the past year or so. And today, too. Heck, I recorded some recordings of 98.5 Jazz Country, which is a non-profit station, community station, and also more recordings of the Wake Up Call on WCOL, which Woody Johnson isn't the main antagonist on it. I mean, he still is using the birthday bash, but he isn't, he's doing the pranks, but he still isn't the main people of the show. But here, I've been doing a few recordings on my little digital recorder, and I also might start doing recordings from my computer. Might sound better, because I know how to do that. And so yeah, that's a possibility of me doing that. And so yeah, their checks are fun. And they got a lot of stuff to show. And I also made a playlist on my YouTube playlist on my channel called Radio Recordings. And when I upload these radio recordings and air checks, I will put it on this playlist. It also has the old emergency alert system test on 98.9 The Answer from August 11th, 2021, which I uploaded 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago onto this channel. I also put that on there too. So yeah, I put all these stuff on there, and they're quite fun to go through too. Now, I also might think about, let's also get into transmitters. We're going to talk a little bit about transmitters. I think what I might want to do is, I was looking at this Instructables article about, increasing the range of a wireless FM transmitter. No, not going to take it and make it go 5 miles or 10 miles. That's crazy. That's pirate radio. What I want to do is make it go maybe, because this transmitter, I think my Dusel wireless transmitter goes about 15, 20 feet. Pretty good, but if we could get it to go maybe 50 or 70 or something like that, it's also pretty good, because if you I know the short range is pretty good to cause less interference, but also for the listener yourself, sometimes when it's the shortest range, it can get pretty weak in certain places, and if you have a small radio, it can be pretty weak. And also when you're driving around stuff like power lines and stuff, it's pretty, it can do. But with longer range, heck, you could have someone close to your car listening to you, or people 50 feet away from you, 70 feet, but just for fun. But anyway, but definitely at least a good idea to boost the range of the transmitter, maybe put a new antenna in there, mess with the wiring a little bit, inspect the transmitter a little bit, get it to do something. I did a video that tested the transmitter on this YouTube channel last year, which I did upload to this channel. So, yeah. So, but the idea, it's kind of cool. Transmitters fun things to do. I know it might seem kind of crazy because you're on pirate radio, but let me tell you something about transmitters. They're like, I mean, it's a quite fun thing to get into if you're wanting to start something new this year. Get a transmitter, get something small, maybe get a wireless transmitter, or you could get a talking house AM transmitter, so you could broadcast a little more because the Part 15 and Part 15 rules are also different on AM band because FM, there's a little more limitations on transmissions. You only can go a few feet, about 100 or so feet. Although for this, my big transmitter that I plug in, it's obviously got more than that. But I obviously don't have it on all the time, and I also sometimes change frequencies. I don't do crazy stuff like putting antennas up on the roof. That's kind of crazy, and I don't want no Karens calling FCC complaining. Shut up, Karen. I also don't. Well, I need to also don't cause interference to outside sources. But see, the transmitter, a little thing that you could use, for sending your music out there, or just whatever you got. So, and I've taken my wireless transmitter to the go and also use it in the house sometimes too, beside my one transmitter that plugs in to the wall, which is the one I still have. So, yeah. But definitely try your transmitters. There's so many of them on the internet you could look for. Transmitters have gone up pretty much over 2020 since COVID. A lot of churches have used transmitters. Movie theaters have used transmitters. I'm sure people like us who just want to listen to their own music on the transmitter like I do, people have bought them transmitters. Heck, I'm sure people watch movies on the backyard with their friends and they have their transmitter. But it even got to the point where in 2020, around March or April this time, some of the transmitters were out of stock because so many people ordered them, and so they had to keep selling more. They had to keep buying them because so many people bought them over the year of 2020. And even though transmitters do seem like old school stuff, but it still works no matter what. And having something like that is another fun to use. And something like these you could use it for what you wish to use them for. But also, you've seen different more pirate radio activity on 2020. That's the only good thing about COVID. Around 2020, more pirate radio. Not just about on the FM and AM band, but you also got shortwave, who had a lot of pirate radio activity on the shortwave bands. The good thing about 2020, transmitters were on the rise. A lot of people bought them for many, many things since COVID. And people, except the only bad thing is people bought so much of them, that there are only a few in stock, or some even didn't have any more in stock. So they had to find another one, which who knows, it might not be better than the other one. But there are a lot of transmitters online, from the ones you plug into your wall to your average Bluetooth wireless transmitter like I have. But there are so many to look for. especially Amazon has a big list of transmitters. eBay, well, especially I use Amazon, but Amazon has a really good list of transmitters, and all that good stuff. And you could be like me, just transmit on the radio from your house or wherever you would go if you have a wireless one. Yeah, so just be like me. At least if you do use it a lot, maybe change frequencies once in a while, not all the time. You obviously don't want, crazy guys coming trying to complain. And also make sure it's pretty vacant. Although I should do it when mom and dad are listening to their crazy radio station coming home from work. Or I should take my wireless transmitter and hijack mom and dad's radio station when I'm in the car, just so I can get them all mad. Maybe I might play a emergency alert video on YouTube just to make them think it's real. That'll really get the people going on about that. But anyway, they do make it pretty fun to use. The longest I've owned a transmitter was the one I have that plugs in the wall. I've owned it for about 5 or so years. Just about 4.5 years, baby. And that's pretty much the longest I've owned one. The CCH05B FM transmitter that I have that plugs into the outlet, and this transmitter again transmits about 5 watts. And you can change the power from 5 watt to 1 watt or whatever if you unplug the transmitter, either using the outlet on the wall or the cable on the in front of me. Which I always use the cable. I don't need to go look at the outlet. I can just use the cable. Take that off and put it in and hold down the power button. Then you will see the high and low settings. They will be abbreviated as L and H, high and low. And you hit either of those and you see all these numbers and you can change it that way. Now, Failsafe has also made a bunch of other products kind of like that. They even made a 7 watt CZH07C or whatever that is, and BioFS Electronics, and they make all kinds of stuff. But a lot of other companies are known at making transmitters and different kind of things. So yeah, just see what you want to use them. See, I always judge the transmitter for its usefulness, the range of the transmitter, if it works at all. And I also like to, read reviews about their experiences with the transmitter, see people using it in different places and whatever they would use it for, and go from there. Read about it a little bit. Always want to read something before purchasing it, or anything for that matter. So yeah, these are a few key things that I do for looking at transmitters and their usefulness and so all that good stuff. Most of the transmitters come from China, Chinese transmitters, and some other transmitters are from other places, but there are a lot of Chinese transmitters that come from China. Like the one I have, which is the one that I have sitting on my desk that's plugged into the wall. Obviously it's off right now, but yeah. So if you want to ever look for a transmitter, you should start doing that, especially because the radio nowadays is trashed with a lot of junk. Some of it is anyway. But I guess depends on where you are and, you know, what it is. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to get to about that today, too, in this episode. So, yes. If you enjoyed listening to this, be sure to subscribe, like this video, and also share it around. Always helps the channel. You always can do that. And stay tuned for more air checks, more videos, more talk show, more this and that, because we got more coming for ya. And please be sure to give the video a big thumbs up and smack the like button as hard as you possibly can till you can't no more. And we'll see you next time. Till then, peace.